In the spring and summer months, the Isle of Wight finally opens to tourists, and we run a monthly weekend away to the island. Crossing early on a Saturday morning from Southampton to East Cowes, our first stop is Osborne House. This was the summer residence of Queen Victoria and built for her family in 1845. Osborne House has beautiful grounds and its own private beach. It was here on this beach that the family would land away from the busy port at East Cowes for their yearly summer holidays. But of course, now the beach is for all of us to enjoy. On arrival, the family would make their way up from the beach to the house, which was designed by Prince Albert in the Italian palazzo style. The gardens of Osborne House are beautifully kept and a pleasure to stroll around in the summer months. In the Victorian era, sea and rail links vastly improved, making leisure travel available to many more people, with the Isle of Wight becoming a hugely popular tourist destination. Prince Albert really threw himself into the construction of Osborne House because, as the Queen's consort, he felt underused and needed an all-encompassing project. Inside the house, you can walk through the drawing rooms where the family would play music, card games and billiards. You will also see the formal dining room and the spectacular Dunbar room. In the afternoon, we make our way down to Sandown to check into our hotel by the beach. Once settled, you can make your way to the beach to walk barefoot in the sand or maybe go out on the water. As well as swimming, there are many places along the shore where you can hire kayaks, paddleboards and aquabikes. There is also a cliff walk to the nearby town of Shanklin if you fancy staying dry. After dinner, why not take a sundown stroll along the beach, with the cargo ships twinkling in the distance and Sandown Pier illuminated at dusk. The next day, our first stop is the beautiful village of Godshill, with its cider shop selling local delicacies, its chocolate shop and the medieval church on the hill, hence the name Godshill. Strange praise as it may be, Godshill has a fantastic model village. This depicts Godshill and Shanklin in the 1950s, with a railway, the church, and music from the era drifting out of a couple of buildings to set the scene. It is immaculately kept, with the live trees pruned to miniature size so they don't dominate the buildings. And, of course, to be accurate, the model village also has a model village in it, that in turn has another one. So there's a village in a village in a village in the actual village. Our second stop on day 2 is the fabulous landmark of the Needles. Here you can take a chairlift or walk down the steps to the crystal clear beauty of Alum Bay below, with its pebble beach and boat rides out to the Needles. Alum Bay is popular with sailors who travel down from places like Bournemouth to enjoy the sights. The chalk cliffs at Alum Bay are multicoloured with vertical layers of sediment in pinks, yellows, greens and oranges. This is because they were once part of a lake bed lying flat, but plate tectonics pushed this rock up horizontally, creating the striped cliffs we see today. As the boat takes you out to the Needles, you can see the gun tunnels in the cliffs of the old Victorian battery, plus the fortress on the hill above. The Needles themselves are chalk stacks that stretch out into the sea. However, there is a missing needle, and this lost needle was a tall, slender chalk stack that was called Lot's wife. This was after the biblical story where Lot's wife is transformed into a pillar of salt. This missing needle came down in a huge and terrifying storm in 1770 that caused massive flooding across southern England. The final stop on our weekend tour is the harbour town of Yarmouth. Here you can grab a late lunch as you watch the boats sail by. Unsurprisingly, there is a great tradition of sailing on the Isle of Wight, with festivals such as Cowes Week that happens in August and has around 40 races a day. They also run the more challenging Fastnet race that starts in Cowes, rushes out around the Fastnet Lighthouse on the Atlantic coast of Ireland and finishes up in Plymouth. After Yarmouth, it's back to the ferry at East Cowes and we return to Southampton docks, having had a lovely relaxing weekend on the Isle of Wight. So why not join us next time on our Isle of Wight weekend tour?